Hey guys, so welcome back to my channel. Disregard the blue light behind me. That's part of our fish tank. We can't add more water to it, otherwise, because we have clutches. If you don't know what clutches are, our aquatic snails they're basically eggs. So we have several clutches going on right now, and they have to stay in a humid, dry sort of place. And if you submerge with water, they'll drown. Right now, that's why there's a blue light there because we it goes through our fish tank for our glowfish, but with the aquatic snails. Problem is though, the water got low and then they laid their clutches and now we can't fill it back up. So that would actually kind of dim that light with the water. When it rises, it dims the light. But right now the water's kind of low, about like a couple inches, but safe levels for the fish and the snails until the clutches hatch. So please disregard if that's a little bright. I apologize. Disregard the ceiling fan above me. Because this angle is not the greatest flattering angle, but here I am. So, I just wanted to talk to you guys about. I have more of a rant, I guess. Okay, so I needed a refill on a medication, right, guys? And I've been getting, most of my doctor would give me like 4 or 5 like months, refills, and I could just kind of refill them, and then after about 5 months or so, then I can, I just have to request from them, and then they'll, send another one out, right? Well, sorry, I am so thirsty. It's a leftover from, I know this is not the greatest, but it's so good to me. This is such a summer drink for me. It is not the greatest and not the healthiest, but you know what? Don't judge. It is, it's the grape Fanta. I actually really, really like it. Plus, I don't really drink caffeinated drinks hardly at all anymore because of my anxiety. And it interacts with some of my medications. So I try, now if I want a soda and I really want something with sugar in it, so I try to get all the sodas that have that are non-caffeinated. So, a lot of them are like the fruit kind. So I only drink maybe 1 or 2 sodas a day, if that. So it's usually a Sprite and maybe a Fanta, or I will drink 2 Fantas, or sometimes I will even go even get the minis. So so don't judge me, really. So, anyways, and that was my first and only one today, and it's almost gone. So I just got the phone talking a lot, and so I had to get a drink real quick before I talk to you guys. And I wanted to put this video out here before I forgot. So, okay, I apologize. It's not scripted, so I may say I'm a lot, and I apologize. I'm gonna try not to. I'm gonna try not to go off my path of thinking. Hello, ADHD people. So yeah. So as I was saying, my doctor usually gives me refills on my prescriptions, right? And I guess there's one of my medications is baclofen. It's a pain medication. It kind of helps. It works with my gabapentin, and it's for my fibromyalgia. And the rheumatologist I was seeing, apparently she would, unbeknownst to me, randomly I showed up an appointment. Suddenly I went to go check in. They're like, "Oh, we don't take your insurance anymore." So, and I couldn't afford her office visit out of pocket, to visit, straight up cash. And I'm like, no. So, because you're talking about $300 or $400, for just a visit. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't have $300 or $400 just laying around sometimes, So, at that time, it was like back last, like almost a year ago almost. So I asked her, I said, well, then how am I supposed to get my meds? Because she's the one who prescribes them to me, and for my fibromyalgia. And so they were telling me, the doctor told me, she said, oh, your regular GP should have no problem filling them. So I was like, oh, okay. So I contact my regular GP like I normally always do, and I said, hey, I need a new rheumatologist. At the same time, I also need to go get these filled while I'm trying to find a new rheumatologist. Well, this doctor, apparently, I don't know what's going on, but here lately, it seems like there's a lot of slacking happening. I don't know what's happening, but he's typically usually nice and on his A game, but now for some reason he's starting to go downhill. And I don't know if it's a money situation. My nose is itchy today. It's allergies. Or something's happening. So I am at the point where now I'm like, okay, I'm only going to visit him and talk to him whenever, like, if I'm sick. So I go, I tell him, I literally send messages in the little portal, their online portal thing. And I go on there, I send messages, I talk to the nurse, I said, I explained the situation. No problem. They said, yeah, he can, give you refills or whatever. And in the meantime, they're going to send me a new rheumatologist, which I've yet to get, but I kind of don't care as long as he keeps refilling my meds. I really don't care if I see a rheumatologist or not. So at least at this point with my fibro, it's not as bad as long as I stay on these meds, and the meds have been working. Yes, I have flare ups, but they're not that bad, so it works. Okay, so I ended up getting refills, and it's been perfectly fine. The system has been going great, right? Until this month. Okay, so like I was every Sunday I refill. I have like this pill box, right? Because I'm on that many medications. I have a morning, noon, and night med, for each day. So every Sunday I refill really for the week. So and then I kind of take Sundays out and refill for Sunday. So it goes Sunday to Sunday. And I noticed this past week, I'm like, oh, I only have like two more pills left. And I was like, why? Because it should be automatically getting refilled through my pharmacy. And I was thinking, why isn't it been refilled? That's kind of strange because typically it's an automatic refill. And I looked on the app and I'm like, oh, I found out that it was been denied. It's denied. And I was like, they said the doctor denied it. And I was like, that's weird. But that happened to me the month before on my gabapentin. And all I did was send a message to the nurse through the portal and said, hey, the pharmacy said, he denied it. And I don't know why, but I need this medication because I'm pretty much out. No problem. The very next day, pharmacy was filling my medication. It was good. So I thought maybe the same thing happened here. Contacted the doctor's office, contacted them, and then on the portal, and I get a message back the next day saying, oh, it's been denied because that I need an appointment. And I'm like, okay, so, that's so annoying. But I'm like, fine. So, like, I immediately get on there, look at their appointments availability, because lucky, you can make an appointment online. And I was like, well, I didn't want to talk to the actual doctor because every time I talk to him, it seems like it's a long wait. So I thought, well, nurse practitioners should be able to do it because, sometimes you can see the nurse practitioner and a lot faster than actually seeing your actual doctor. So I'm like, I'll just see the nurse practitioner. I've only saw her one time, and it's been over a year. It's like, yeah, over a year ago when I saw her, and I had this really bad, like, rash or something, and she gave me an ointment, and that was it. So it was the second time I only had to deal with her. Okay, so I ended up contacting them and setting up an appointment, and my appointment was supposed to be 11:45. Okay, cool beans. I set my alarm on my phone, 11:30, in case I got sidetracked watching TV or doing stuff around the house, and so my alarm went off, and I was thinking, oh, wait, it's time for I'm going to go ahead and log in. Okay, I log in like 5 minutes early, right? Because they sent me the link, and through my text messages, I log in, and I'm waiting. No big deal. It says your provider will be with you shortly. I'm waiting, because it's like, like telehealth. It's like, like this, like through the camera of my and so forth. And like Zoom, basically, if you don't know what that is. So I'm assuming you guys do. But anyway, so I'm sitting here and waiting, just chilling, I just got through eating early lunch because I didn't want to talk to her on an empty stomach. Plus, I was hungry, so because I just got out of the shower, and I'm just like, ugh. So I was like, well, let me, eat something, and then I'll hop on. So I was starting to get sleepy because I was like, I have a full stomach, and I'm like tired, and I'm like, okay, can we get through this? Plus, my meds was kicking in. So 11:45 came. And it went. I get a call while I was waiting on camera. I get a call from the office about at 11:50, 11:55ish, and I get told, hey, there's one patient in front of you, so you might want to wait like an extra 10, 15 minutes and then log back in. And I was like, oh, okay. And they'll ask me, she's like, what was this visit for? And I told her I just need a refill on this one medication, and that was it. And she was like, oh, okay. She's like, yeah, just if you want to, log back in about 10, 15 minutes, you'll be good. Fine. So I kind of log out, and I'm just sitting here chilling, doodling on my phone, doom scrolling. And then I look at the time and I'm thinking, okay, it's about 10 minutes after 12. Okay, I'm going to log in. And I get in there even 5 minutes before the 15 minutes is up. I log in and I ended up literally the, I'm literally just still waiting on the provider. I give it another 5 more minutes or so, and I'm thinking, meanwhile, I'm kind of talking to my husband a lot because he's in the other room, and because I'm getting kind of peeved at this moment. I'm getting like, I feel like, okay, what is happening? Why is this visit taking so long? And I'm thinking, okay, my appointment was almost 30 minutes ago, and now at this point it's 12:15. And I was like, at around 12:15, I was like, okay, I'm giving him about 2 or 3 more minutes, and then she doesn't get on here. I'm gonna hang up, and then I'm gonna call the office and then see what's the holdup, what's going on. But then there's a message or something, not really message, but I don't know if it's a system or what. It said please hold on. Your patient, your provider's finishing up with the patient. We'll be with you shortly. Okay, whatever. So I'm like, I waited another 10 more minutes. By this point, it's almost 12:30. It's literally 12:32 or 12:31, somewhere around there. And I'm like, at this point, it's 45 minutes past my appointment time. Finally, you know, the doctor actually, I actually logged out. Actually, the doctor calls me and says, hey, this is nurse da da da, nurse practitioner blah blah, and I'm just calling to see if for your appointment. And I was just like, are you on video? And I was like, I was for 45 minutes. And then she was like, okay, well, I'm on there now. I said, do you want me to get on there now, or do you want to just talk this way? She was like, no, please get on there. I was like, okay, kind of rudely back to me. Like, what? Don't be defensive now. I mean, I'm the one who should be kind of upset because I had sat here and waited 45 minutes for my appointment, and you're over here just taking your sweet time. I don't know what's happening over there. And all I can think of is, are you literally pitting patients that are there in office ahead of those that are virtual, or what? That's all I can think of. Anyways, so now normally I'm the most patient person ever most of the time in the doctor's office, and I'm usually thinking, okay, I'm gonna give him 5 10 minutes. Maybe I had to go to the bathroom. I get it. It gets a fast pace. You don't have time to grab a bite of a sandwich. I understand. You want to get something to drink. There's other things that happen in between. You all of a sudden your kid calls you, or you're sending a quick text to your kid like, hey, what's up? Because it's summer. I get it. But 45 minutes past my time, I'm thinking this is ridiculous. So I'm sitting here waiting. Finally, so I get on there. I log in. I see her sitting there waiting. She already kind of has this little demeanor attitude, like kind of like that, resting bee face, and I'm just like, don't even start with me. But I sat there and I came at her in a way. I was like, I just don't understand. I said, all I needed was a refill on my medication. That's all I needed. And literally it took her 2 minutes to literally push the dang button in the computer. She confirmed the pharmacy, and I said, yeah, that's it. She goes, okay, I'll give you a few refills, and that was it. And I was like, I could have left it alone and be like, okay, thank you, have a great day. No. Because I said, okay, she goes, is there anything else I can help you with? I said, yes, I have a question. How come my appointment is at this 11:45, but I don't get to talk to you till almost 12:30? Actually, after 12:30, almost an hour after my appointment. And I understand there's days where you're going to be behind, and I try to be nice like a Karen, but this is ridiculous. I said, this isn't the first time this office has done this virtually. I have done this with my actual GP with this virtually as well, and it is ridiculous. Now I've had other specialists that I talk virtually, telehealth wise, and the longest I've ever waited was 10-15 minutes past my appointment time, but that was the longest. This is 45 minutes, actually longer than 45 minutes, and I'm like, are you kidding me? And then it's not just this one time. So I mean, I can forgive if it was just this one time this has happened to me. But this has happened every time I did a virtual with them. And I tried to explain to her. I told her straight up, I said, this is how, I mean, I had other complaints as well with my actual doctor, and I started talking about blood work, and I started talking about how, like, I really wish there should have been more blood work. There should be, because you don't know what's happening with my meds, with my liver, my kidneys. You don't know my function. Unless it seems like my doctor, he doesn't do anything unless I request it. And not only that, my last physical and annual with him was last year, and I said I didn't want to, and he was so condescending, so belittling. I'll tell you guys, he literally, not only was he talking about my weight, which is been a big issue factor with me, but it's so hard when you have POTS. It's so hard when you're trying to adjust your sodium levels, which also makes you kind of bloated a little bit because you have either too much sodium or not enough sodium, and then you feel lightheaded. Every time you stay up and work out or do something, you're going to pass out. Also, on top of that, with my fibro, which my joints and my body aches, and yes, the weight makes it worse, but still, I'm still dealing with that. Two, plus the medications I'm on cause weight gain. I'm on mental health medications, which cause you to weight gain. I am trying the best I can, and yet he sits there and was condescending and telling me that I need to lose weight and I need to do this and that. Well, tell me, thank you, Captain Obvious. I realize that. You've been seeing me for years. Between this visit and the other visits, I have not gained hardly any weight over time. So it's not like I gained 50 pounds between last time I saw you and now I saw you. You're making it sound like I just blew up into this gigantic well overnight. And that's not true. And not only that, he literally, this is all with my husband in the room, which is also even more embarrassing. Thank God we've been married as long as we've been married, because he was literally embarrassed for me and felt bad for me, because he was literally measuring my waist, measuring my chest, measuring my hips. It was like tweaking all my measurements and measuring my neck. And he was all like talking about how, like, oh, and he was calling the numbers out loud instead of just writing them down. He was calling them out loud. And then not only that, he also was talking about how my teeth situation, and he was like, oh yeah, you look like you need some dental stuff work done, you need to get your teeth replaced also. And I'm literally, he knows, one, financially it is almost impossible. I have no dental insurance. I'm literally working on that. I'm trying to get that under control. I'm trying to get that handled. I did it one time, and then it just totally, I went through Aspen Dental, which don't ever, by the way, go through them. They literally screwed me over, and they caused more damage. I ended up in the hospital. It's been horrible. So I have been dealing with the last year or two, dealing with that and trying to figure out a way of financing and everything like that, so I can, get my teeth situation handled, which I'm hoping by the end of the summer or early fall, I will have it done. I will have it, worked on. But right now, at that point in time when I saw him last year, it became an issue. And then, so he was talking about how basically talking about how my teeth are bad and I need this and that. And I'm like, you know my situation. Why are you making me feel so bad? You're not a dentist. So why are you even commenting about my oral health or my mouth? Second of all, what little teeth I do have, I brush. I floss. I do as much as I can to keep them healthy, because that's all I got left. So he knew the situation. And not only that, he knows my mental health situation. So you just made me even more depressed than I was when I first came in. If I wasn't depressed when I came in, I was even more depressed when I left. And after that, it was so bad to the point I was almost in tears when I wanted to leave. I could not wait to leave. So this is what I explained to her. I explained this to the nurse practitioner. And I know you guys are probably saying, well, why don't just go to another doctor? First of all, easier said than done, because when it comes to insurances and stuff like that, it seems like, and not only that, also location, it just makes sense to kind of stay where I'm at, because I don't see him as often. I don't feel like I need to see him as often. I'm hardly ever sick enough. Like, I'm hardly ever getting the flu or a cold or whatever. So if I need something, I'll go to him and get the medication. But other than that, he's just on my roster. So there was no point in drumming up a whole nother chart at a whole nother office facility with a whole new doctor and having to almost feel like I have to start all the way over. And I don't want to do all that. So And like I said, in the past, he's never been like this. And it's like, I just didn't know if that day he just didn't eat his Wheaties or what, because it's like something was just like, it just didn't feel right. And this is the first, and that was the first time my husband had saw this doctor, because normally he sits in the car or the waiting room. So he's never really seen my doctor. So I actually told him, I said, hey, why don't you come back there with me so you can be a support system, so you can know what's going on and you're aware and you're there and you know what's happening with me. Well, apparently this left a bad taste in my husband's mouth. It's like, no, because if my husband was looking for a doctor, an actual GP, he could have gone to him. But now, after seeing how he treated me, I don't think he wants to. I mean, it's just the way it was. He was like, that is ridiculous. You shouldn't put up with that. So I told this to the nurse practitioner today and explained my reasoning and how I've been feeling. And not only that, but her excuse, the reason why it was 45 minutes late, she was like, well, it's because, patients, we never know what we're going to walk into. And we're in here, they come in with one chief complaint, but then they want to talk about 5 or 10 other ailments that's going on while they're here. And so the visit goes out longer. And I'm like, well, you need to tell them that they can only take 1 or 2 ailments, and then the rest they're going to have to make a new appointment for, because the NHS over in freaking the UK, those doctors they only get 10 to 15 minutes with each patient. So if they have a bunch of other issues going on, then they have to make a new appointment. Here, my doctor's like, this nurse practitioner is like, no, we have to listen to them and give them time. I'm thinking, but it's inconsiderate to the patients that's after them. Not only that, my appointment was at 11:45, and she had availability for one at 11:45, 12, basically one every 15 minutes. Now, mind you, she didn't get to me till after 12:30. So what happened? I feel bad for the person who was at 12, 12:15, and 12:30, because those 3 patients were still waiting because she was still talking to me, and I was at 11:45. So, I'm like, I even told her that. I was thinking, y'all can't be just, you're going to have a cutoff time. Not only that, the reason I kind of vented to her about all this stuff, because I was taking advantage of it, because she literally told me about how she spends all her time with the patient, da da da. So you know what? Fine. I'm going to do it too. So I could have easily left and be done with this, the whole call and everything. When she said she sent my refill over to the pharmacy, that was it. I could have said, okay, thanks, have a good day. But I didn't. I was going to take advantage of it, because I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna get my piece too. But not only that, but it was funny because my husband's in the other room, and after I got the phone with this doctor, or nurse practitioner, excuse me, when I got the phone with her, and we hung up, my husband's like, my husband's literally saying shots were fired, because he saw I was angry, I was upset, and I was going to let them know. And I said, if I don't speak up, I'm my own advocate. And when it comes to healthcare, you have to be your own advocate. I don't have a caseworker, case manager. I don't have somebody there sitting there talking for me, or a representative talking for me. I have to speak for myself while I still can, because if I don't, then who will? And the doctors don't really care. At the end of the day, whether I complain to them or I don't complain to them, they're still getting paid. So either way, it is what it is. So meanwhile, I had to contact my insurance companies, because I was going to a sleep study, thing back in February of this year. I ended up filling out the paperwork, but then canceled my appointment, never did the sleep study, and I found out they still billed my insurance. And when I got the paperwork today, or yesterday, or whatever it is, in the mail, with the whole summary of all, everything that was done, and I was like, wait, I had to contact them. I said, this is fraud. They literally got paid for a service that I never did. And so I'm having to appeal that. So I'm having to go through go through all that situation and having to fight that battle. So yeah, medical offices, doctors, all that stuff is just so I get the system, it sucks, but it is, and I know it's overbearing, I know it's overwhelmed, but it should not be this way. First of all, if I'm just calling and you already knew ahead of time, all I need is a refill, and this is all I'm calling about, why not have just the nurse, just say, okay, thanks for calling. We'll try to see. All I have to do is just go ahead and send a refill in. Thanks for calling in. Boom. But no, I have to speak to the actual doctor, which means I got to sit and wait. I'm sorry, I'm not getting dressed, driving in my car, go fight traffic to go find a parking space, walk across a really hot, freaking dry, over sunny parking lot. I was trying to pick my words there for a minute. Parking lot, sitting in a waiting room that's kind of hot because they don't believe in AC in that building for God knows how long, just to be called back for stand on the scale, take my blood pressure for no reason because I'm just there for a refill, and sit in another room for another 20, 30 more minutes just to tell them, says, hey, I just need a refill. I wasn't going to do all that. That's why I said, oh, let me just do virtual. So that's why I thought it'll be easier. I'll just, it's a 5-minute call. But she could have done me in between patients almost. But she told me, she was like, well, the thing is, if I'm already in a patient, I'm back at 11:30, and your appointment's at 11:45, I can't just stop in the middle of their visit to talk to you. That's what she told me. I'm not expecting her to do that. I'm expecting her to look at a time and say, hey, it's almost 11:45. I know I have a patient at 11:45, so let me go ahead and cut this visit and say, hey, I'm if there's anything else that we can address today, we're gonna have to address in another visit. But I'm hoping we got to the chief complaint today and send that patient on the way so you can get on the phone call with me, so you're not behind. How hard is that? But no, you're gonna sit there and continue to let them continue to talk. So guess what I did? I continue to talk. And yes, it's so. That's not being a Karen. It's more of, yes, it's like two wrongs don't make a right. And it's out of my demeanor to do what I did today, but I just felt so compelled to be like, you know what? If other people are doing that to me and I'm sitting here waiting, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to do it too today. I just felt like being a baddie today, apparently. I guess. I don't know. Because it's so out of my nature. I'm not like that. Even if someone does me wrong, I'm not going to do it wrong to them. I'm just going to be like, it is what it is. Two wrongs don't make a right. And that's how I raised my kid to be. But today was not the day for me to be that good, the halo on my head today. I was fed up. And my appointment's at 11:45. I can wait 10, 15 minutes. Okay, 12, fine. Came 12:15. I'm thinking, okay, do I need to call them? Okay, 12:30. And I finally almost pretty much left the virtual room just to have them call me at 12:35 to say, hey, are you getting on? I was on for 45 minutes waiting on you. If I was there in the office and I'm sitting in the room waiting on the doctor to come in the room for 45 minutes, I guarantee you I would not have sat there for 45 minutes. I would have literally opened the door, went and asked the nurse, is the doctor coming in? How many more patients before me? Are they that far behind? And I can forgive. There's days where you're going to be so overwhelmed. You're going to have a lot of patients, double bookings. You're going to have emergencies. I get that. Things happen. You get behind. I'm fine with that. But this is every time I have a virtual appointment with this particular office. Every time. And yes, I could have just, even if I went in person, I'm still waiting. And it's a time thing. And I think it's like, if we get reprimanded as patients, if I leave, if I show up 15 minutes late to my appointment, 10, 15 minutes after my appointment time, you charge me $100 fee and I have to reschedule. But if you show up 45 minutes past my time, even though I'm there, what do you get reprimanded with? You don't have to do nothing. I think we should deduct from your paycheck because you took away from my time. And you should pay me $100. You know what I'm saying? I think doctors should be held accountable. Time is of the essence, especially in the medical care. You say time equals money, but yet it's ridiculous. And if you're seeing too many patients and you can't see them when their appointment time is or within a certain time accuracy here, then maybe you need to look back and see, maybe you're seeing there's too many there. Maybe you need to delegate or hire more doctors in the office. Or say, no, we're overbooked, we can't take any more patients. Something. So, it's ridiculous. So, anyways, I digress, guys. I just wanted to vent. I feel like I know I'm not the only one out there that feels this way. And if you guys feel like it makes me a Karen for being this way, then so be it. I don't feel like I'm being a Karen at this point. I mean, I have a whole nother rant on another app. I don't know if you guys, this video is going to be probably lengthy, but I'm trying not to make it too lengthy. I mean, I'm already at 30 minutes, but if you watch this far, kudos. And if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and consider subscribing. Because, I mean, I'm just trying to vent and also tell you guys what's going on in my life. I have another little small rant, but it's not going to be really big. It's not going to be really long. I promise it's not going to be another 30 minutes. But if you guys have ever get on, and this is not sponsored by the way, but if you ever guys got on the Whatnot app, okay, so the Whatnot app is basically almost like, think of it kind of like an eBay. It's like, but it's live. So you can, people are actually like on their camera, almost like TikTok, they're selling stuff or whatever it is, and you can bid. You upload your PayPal or your credit card or debit cards or whatever it is underneath your account, and if someone shows like say a t-shirt and their starting bid is $1 and you're going to say I'll pay $1, you know, whatever it is, and the shipping is usually, most of them are shipping is like $9.21, but sometimes they what they call bundle shipping, so you can pay like 5 or 6 items and only pay shipping one time, or you can do or some do by weight of the box. But yeah, it's like it's just there's different things about it. But anyways, you guys can check it out if you don't know what I'm talking about. But anyways, my thing is though, I had a seller who what do you call it, who literally on their profile, because all the sellers have where it says like their you know the typical shipping dates, you know, days, you know, so some ship out the same day, some do it in like within 24 hours, some do it, you know, within that week. It's all on there, right? And I bought something back on June 16th, right? I actually bought 2 things. And I actually spent like 50 some dollars with them. Well, it comes out where I'm like, and I didn't even do the bidding part, but I actually bought the items in their shop. So which means I paid almost pretty much full price for the item. I didn't lowball them or anything like that doing the bidding. I just went and paid that. Plus I pay for shipping and taxes on these items. So I bought these items, and it says, because it says that they says that they ship within 1 day. So I'm like, okay, so I did it on the 16th of June, right? And then so and then I thought, okay, it'll be out on around the 17th or 18th, and like it'll tell me that it's been shipped, right? So the 20th came. I waited till the 20th. And I was like, it's still not been shipped. And I thought that was kind of weird. It's been about 4 days. So I contacted the seller privately, messaged the seller, explained the situation, and asking them, I said, when are you going to ship? Because it doesn't make sense that, you know, you guys, you know, you say you ship out within 1 day. Well, I ordered back on the 16th and you still haven't shipped yet, and today's the 20th. I'm just curious, when are you planning on shipping my order? And this girl literally was almost like, I want to say, you know how people can be like, they would say something nice, but it comes off, but you know the undertone is rude. Well, anyway, so I literally like I contacted her, and I said I asked her about it, and she was sitting there telling me that I don't remember the exact words, sorry. But she literally was like, okay, I'm sorry, but I ship, basically, I ship whenever I ship. I ship whenever I feel like it. Some days I'll ship out the same day. Sometimes I'll ship out like a few days later. And I don't care what my profile says when I ship, but you know, your order's going out today. And I'm like, but and then she tried to tell me, she goes, you ordered on the 17th, and the office and the post office was closed on the 19th because it's a federal holiday, which is true. So it's going on the 20th, which was on a Saturday. And I said, actually, ma'am, and I actually screenshot, I said, I actually ordered on the 16th, and therefore you could have shipped out on the 17th or the 18th, because there was no holidays on the 17th or 18th, and you could have shipped them out then. Despite even though there was a federal holiday on the 19th, you know. And she was like telling me, she was like, well, she's like, well, I had a show. They call them shows, okay? She goes, I had a show. It was late that night on the 16th, and I didn't finish early until I didn't finish till late after midnight on the 17th. So therefore, your order didn't get ready until I didn't see your order until this so so date. And I'm like, are you kidding me? So she was trying to justify everything. And I said, but I did a buy now. I didn't order through your show. And I don't care when your show ended. What I care about is that when your profile says you ship in less than a day or within 24 hours, buying, I expected it to be shipped, not 4 days later. And and I wasn't trying to be rude about it when I was telling her this, but I was kind of like a little peeved because she didn't care about the situation and how important this is. I said you should care about what your profile says because it's misleading to other buyers when we're basically buying based on how fast it ships. And literally she came back at me and told me, she's like, well, I don't have to deal with rudeness and da 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 whatever, calling me all sorts of names. And then she turned around and blocked me, right? And so I got on social media, I got on Facebook, and I'm like, I found they're like I found one of the there's so many pages with whatnot, but it's like I think it was a reseller group or something. I just picked one, I guess, and I just put on there because I was like, I took screenshots of the conversation. I'm thinking I don't have to deal with rude sellers just because you sell and it's your business. If you can't handle that many orders, if you can't handle the time spans, then maybe you should think about either not doing a show that's so long, or two, maybe you should be a little upfront with your people that buy from you about when you're going to ship, because we're going based on what's on your profile. It's just being transparent and being honest about it. That's all I said. Oh my God. Immediately, as soon as I post that, I had over 400 and plus comments under that thread, literally calling me all sorts of names. All these resellers, and I didn't realize they were all resellers, but most of them were. They were all like, oh my God, well, I wouldn't sell to you. And they were calling me Karens, they were calling me a B word, they were calling me all sorts of names. I want to know, am I that wrong? Considering that I bought on the 16th, your profile says you ship on the next day, so I assume you're going to ship on the 17th, and it would have been labeled, it's been shipped, but you waited 4 days. I don't care if the 19th was a federal holiday. I ordered the 16th, okay? I ordered around that morning-ish, I think it was. So you pretty much had all the days, the 16th, the 17th, and the 18th to ship my order. You chose to wait till the 20th. Okay, so how am I wrong? And then literally everyone was attacking me, the consumer, for standing up for what I believe. If I was in a store and the store says our business hours are this so-and-so time, and I show up and you're not open, you expect me not to be complaining because you're supposed to be open? I mean, and you had a sale going on? I mean, how am I wrong? I don't know. But anyways, I had so belittled. It was crazy. I didn't get my feelings hurt because it's like keyboard warriors over here. I don't really care about comments. I'm literally laughing at some of them, calling me all sorts of names, calling me many of them actually went on my personal Facebook page and actually found my picture, some of my profile pictures, and literally screenshot them and posted them on this public page and saying, don't worry guys, she's got the Karen haircut and all this stuff or whatever it is. We should expect nothing like her. Nobody's like, oh, what's your buyer name? I don't want to sell to you either. I'm going to block you too. And all this stuff. And I'm like, what in the actual going on, So I ended up basically overall just deleting the post. But some jackass basically went back and screenshotted my post and reposted it. But I don't care. I literally blocked the group. I really left the group. I totally just whatever. And I keep checking my socials, make sure there's no more trolls or anything like that. But so far, I have nothing really. And I have no problem. I'll still be on the app and I'll still shop and so far, I have had no issues, no problems. So it's not been a deal at all. So I don't know what's going on. But I just know there was that many people. And I'm like, that's crazy. So, and everybody's like, oh, we should follow this person. I bought from this person and she's been really sweet. I don't understand what's your deal and da da da, all this stuff. So, I don't know. Am I wrong? I mean, you say you should care what's in your profile because you literally said that you ship within 24 hours of when someone buys something, but yet you waited 4 days and I was waiting on my order to be shipped. Because what if I was going on vacation? What if I needed it by a certain date? And then, of course, people were telling me, well, this isn't Amazon. And I'm like, oh my God, are you kidding me? When you're selling something, you should care when it's going to be shipped. You should care about what's on your profile. I mean, otherwise, how do I know you're not being honest with me? You're not being honest with your with anything you're saying. If you're telling me you don't care about when you ship items, how much it costs, the quality of items, or anything like that, if I don't know, or you're telling me this one thing and then I get said items and it could be something else, you expect me not to complain? I'm spending money with you. If anything, you need me. I don't need you. I could buy this said item at the store. I was just buying it through you because I was supporting a small business. I was supporting you, and you treated me like I was in the wrong. It's like, you can't. What gives people the right to be like that to people? So in turn, I got to the point after she blocked me. I got to the point where I was like, you know what? I contacted One Knot's customer service, and I got to the point where I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to. I wanted to cancel my order completely. I didn't want to do anything with her, but I couldn't cancel because she'd already supposedly, shipped it. It already had a tracking number on there. So I contacted Whatnot and asked her request cancellation. But the problem is though, since I want two things, they only would cancel one and not the other, which I don't understand why. But so they cancel the most expensive thing. But so apparently I got my money back on that one, but she still got her money on the other item, and I still, whatever. I don't know if I'm going to get the other item that I get refunded with. I don't know how that's going to work out. So far, I looked at the tracking number. It says that it's actually moving. So I may be getting that item technically for free, but it's not that wasn't the point. And a lot of people did point that out on there. A lot of people called me out and said that I was just trying to get free products. Not once did I say that I was trying to get a free product. Not once was I trying to complain so I could get a free product. I was complaining because you say you're going to ship at a certain time and you did not. And if things happened and you couldn't make it to the post office today, you couldn't ship or something happened, communicate with your buyers. Communicate, just say, hey, sorry, there was a delay, or I know you bought things, something. And I don't care if you're a one person show, one person running everything, I'm not supposed to feel sorry for you. I'm not going to, be like over here like, okay, and, because it's, at the end of the day, you're running a business. You took that risk. It's not my fault because you took that risk and you're failing. Half of a successful business is consistency. Consistency, transparency, honesty, all those things, that's what runs a business. And if you can't do those things, then maybe you should be doing something else. Or maybe you should get help to help you out. Or maybe, because you cannot expect your customers to have pity on you and be always understanding of your situation. And I'm sorry, but even if her show ran late into the 17th, even though I bought it on the 16th, you still had all day 17th, all day the 18th to ship. Never mind, I mean, you're using Juneteenth as an excuse why you didn't ship. And then you said you waited till the 20th to do it. After you didn't start ready to ship my item till after I contacted you. And then you decided to say, oh, by the way, your item's getting shipped. After I've asked when you were shipping my item. Like, come on now, but I'm the wrong one. I'm the bad guy. I'm the Karen. Like, make it make sense. So anyways, guys, I told myself I was going to make that story very long, so it was only 15 minutes. But yeah. Anyway, so that's my rant. Anywhere from doctor's offices for time being spent, and then also, people that try to run a business but don't know how to run a business apparently. I don't know what's going on with the world today. I just feel like ranting today. So, yeah, if you made it this far, thank you so much for your support. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I appreciate it, guys. None of this was scripted, so I'm just telling you as if we sat down and had lunch, you know. So thank you so much for understanding and supporting me and being here. And as always, guys, please make sure you are watching my videos all the way through. Please thank, because I really need those watch hours. Please make sure you're sharing my videos. It'd be great. As well as go ahead and comment down below. Tell me what your thoughts are, and we'll go from there. And then, yeah, make sure you're subscribed. That'd be great. You know, that's always a good thing. And it's free. Go ahead and do it. Why not? You know, what's going to hurt you? So, in the meantime, guys, we're still working on the renovations. We're hoping by the end of the month, the room will be at least, my room will be at least 80 to 85% done. And then once that gets done, I think sometime in July-ish or August, I will start working in fixing up the office area. And eventually, hopefully by this fall, I'll be in there and I'll actually be on my desktop. And then I can do better videos and I can do better editing and I won't be on my phone all the time. And hopefully I'll look better and decent and actually feel better and have things going. So, anyways, time to take a breather. It's time for my nap because I've ranted enough. And I hope you guys have a great day. And I will talk to you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.